Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with John Roger Anthony. Today is the 6th of January 2021. We are going to reflect upon the Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 6, verse 45 to 52. Immediately he made his disciples get into the boat and go on ahead to the other side to Bethsaida while he dismissed the crowd. After saying farewell to them, he went up on the mountain to pray. When evening came, the boat was out on the sea, and he was alone on the land. When he saw that they were straining at the oars against an adverse wind, he came towards them early in the morning, walking on the sea. He intended to pass them by, but when they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost and cried out, for they all saw him and were terrified. But immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." Then he got into the boat with them, and the wind ceased. And they were utterly astounded, for they did not understand about the loaves, but their hearts were hardened. Today's gospel passage is a perfect image of how we end up putting a lot of effort to move forward in our lives while facing times of great difficulties and challenges. Jesus asked the disciples to get into the boat and go to Bethsaida on the other side, while he went up the mountain alone to pray. Many times in our lives, we may be asked by someone, or even by God for that matter, to go somewhere and do something. We may be least prepared for it, or even unwilling to go and do what is expected of us. For these disciples as well, this boat ride was totally unexpected and unplanned. Each time we face difficulties, like the disciples struggled to sail against the wind, it is mainly because it seems as though Jesus is absent from our lives, just like how he was not present in the boat with the disciples. However, Jesus assures us, like he did the disciples, that he is not someone who gives us advice from the outside without a hint of the trouble we are going through. Rather, he personally enters into our weak moments and strengthens us with his presence and the authority of his word. Even though Jesus was on the land, away from the disciples, he saw they were struggling and came towards them, instead of ordering them to somehow make it to the shore. It is no secret that so many of us experience the strong winds of insecurity in our jobs, bitterness and brokenness in our relationships, uncertainty in life due to sudden mishaps, accidents, failures, and even sudden death of a dear one. These and so many other tough situations damage our lives to the extent that many of us have to start everything all over again. These strong winds terrify us to the extent that we don't recognize the Lord, just as the disciples were terrified and thought it was a ghost, when it was Jesus himself coming towards them, walking on the water. To those of us who are right now filled with doubt, hopelessness, and fear, Jesus is reassuring us as he did to his terrified disciples, saying, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." The wind may be strong, but Jesus is the master of the wind. The darkness of the night may be terrifying, but Jesus comes to us with the light of day. And so, just like the disciples led Jesus into their boats, let us bring him into our lives, especially when the going gets tough. Let us believe that when Jesus is with us, God is with us. And when God is with us, who can be against us?